Hadirin, atau kita lanjutkan dulu ya dengan tema yang sama soalnya ya. With the same theme, I think we should continue. Okay. Thank you and please welcome Mr. Anand from Google. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Speaking at these new media conferences makes me feel really, really old. Because when I started my career in 1990 in India, the new media at that time was cable TV. And clients were thinking that we were hungover when we were talking about saying that people will actually pay you and subscribe for a TV channel. They were all thinking that we are all hungover. And they were thinking that we are all crazy. Some things never change. There are some clients who are skeptical still today, and they still ask us questions. You mean people search? You mean people click on those ads? So questions still remain, and I think all of us, it's our job to make sure that these questions are answered, and that's what we have to focus on. So it's really hard for all of us to navigate customers, and one of the big things the reason why it's so hard to navigate customers is because of the fact that, look at this particular information. This year, just 100 people will consume more page views on internet than about 17 million people in 1995. So just 100 people are going to serve more page views than all the people in online in 1995. And one of the big reasons why this is happening is because the broadband penetration is going up really, really fast, and the rates of broadband packages are coming down really, really fast. So this is what is changing things for all of us. So this obviously creates a lot of problems for media planners in agencies. And look at this particular piece of information. It says that an average user spends, and I've just looked at food and beverages category, and an average user for this category spends about 45% of the media time on online. Now, I want you to take a guess as to what percentage of budgets do you think are being spent online. Just throw a number at me. So users, look at this piece of information. 44% of media time is being spent online. I want you to take a guess. What percentage of your budgets are you spending online? Just take a guess. Random number. Anyone? 10? I wish it was 10. If it was 10, I would be in Bali. Right? So the actual number is about 1.7, less than 2%. And this is data from US. If you look at Southeast Asia, the number is less than 0.5%. So which means consumers are spending about half of their media time online, and you are spending only 0.5% of the total budgets in online. So there's a huge gap that we need to fill up. And we are trying to work with IABs and all the forums in Southeast Asia to make sure that we have lots of data, lots of information, and lots of insights for you. So based on this, the agenda for today is there are 5 or 6 quick things that I want to cover. I wanted to highlight that Sanchit said earlier with Indonesia-specific examples on how an offline campaign in print and TV leads to online search queries. So fine, people search online, but how does it help you? Because what we have seen even in Indonesia, that when people search online, they buy offline. So these are all the animals called ROPO, which means research online, purchase offline. So obviously people haven't reached the stage in the country where people have started buying majority of the goods and services in online. The next one is, a lot of people think search is good only for tactical or only for promotions. And what we have seen is search is a good example even for brand building. I want to introduce you to what is called content targeting, because I don't think too many people are aware of content targeting. And it's a great way of using Google Display Network to release ads on thousands of sites in Indonesia. I'm going to give you links for great examples on how clients are using online to extend the life of a TV commercial. It's a great example. I've seen that TV commercial in Indonesia for a brand, Mentos. And finally, I'm going to talk about how can you make use of free tools on Google. So this is the quick agenda. So look at this. This is something that Sanchit shared earlier. If you look at top 5 reasons why people search, 4 out of those top 5 are all linked to your mass media advertising. Which means the moment, like Sanchit mentioned earlier, the moment you start your campaign in TV and print, it definitely leads people to search. And we have seen a direct correlation between GRPs of your mass media activity and the search traffic volumes to your site. So there's a direct correlation between GRPs of your media plan and the search queries. I want to show you something in Indonesia. So this is data from Google Trends. It's a free tool, and I've discovered this yesterday. So what I've looked at is I've just taken a look at the search queries for banks in Indonesia. And I've taken a look at BNI, Mandiri, Bank Mandiri, HSBC, and Citibank. So what you'll notice here is for about 9 queries on HSBC, there are 75 queries for Mandiri. So that's the amount of queries that are happening from Indonesia in the last 5 years. So this is free data. You can go to google.com/trends and enter any 5 brands, and it will tell you what is the trend for search queries from Indonesia. So let's take a look at just Mandiri Bank. And people seem to be searching for 2 keywords, Bank Mandiri, and some people search even as Mandiri. So I don't have access to media plan for Bank Mandiri, but I wanted to highlight a couple of points in the last 12 months. If you look at this particular data, you'll realize that in October 2009, December, and July this year, and sometime in August, that was the time when the search queries for the bank increased significantly. So it all means that there must be a mass media campaign in Indonesia for Bank Mandiri at that time. So I just wanted to highlight once again that there is a need for you to integrate online and offline, because the first thing that happens when you start your offline campaign, people start searching for your brand. So please integrate your campaigns. Every time when you have an offline campaign, please make sure you have an online campaign as well. Going on to the next one. So fine, people search, but how does it help me as a brand to sell my goods and services? So I'm going to share research that was done in Indonesia last year, and as I mentioned to you, this was called ROPO, which is research online and purchase offline. So this was a big research. I'm only going to cover one specific area of that research, which was studying the purchasing habits of users in Indonesia about buying broadband packages. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Close to 79% of the people have actually researched it online, but purchased it offline. So a lot of people, before they buy a product or service offline, they will spend a lot of time in researching it online. The next one that we found, which was interesting, is search seems to be the most influential and popular source of information. So this tells you how important is search in influencing a brand. And I wanted to highlight one particular case here, which talks about views or reviews by product. So I found a very sad but true piece of information. It seems like people believe more in unknown people than your friends and relatives. So you would listen to someone who's sitting in Japan, China, Korea more than your friends and relatives. It's sad but true, because whenever you're buying any product or service, you want to find out how users in other countries and other areas are thinking about that particular brand or service. And that's what reviews are more important. And people go to review sites just by using search.